Hello everyone. I'm making this video as I wouldn't call it a review, but my impression of the new, here it is, Paul McCartney album, Egypt Station, which was released a little over a week ago. And it has received a lot of buzz on the internet and people making their own review videos as such. So I'm going to do mine right now, and I got to keep track of the time. This is not, like I said, not so much a review, just my impression of it. And let me just start off. Paul McCartney's work during this, since 2001 up to the present, with such albums as Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, Memory Almost Full, the new album, and the last Fireman Project. I think I can hear a revigoration of his creativeness, it's not business as usual. I think he's really trying on these albums, and he's really doing his best. Where some of his Wings albums and solo albums, while they were good, they had their moments. I just felt like like Back to the Egg and London Town, Off the Ground. It was just kind of business as usual with some standouts. But this later body of work had been really, really, really good. And the good news is, while these albums have did well in debuting on the charts, he haven't had a #1 album. Well, Egyptian Station, the news is it's going to debut on Billboard magazine as #1 on Billboard magazine. So that gives Paul another feather in his cap. But besides that, the charts doesn't really determine great music, especially these days. Okay, let's be honest. I jotted down some notes, so we're going to go through each cut or most of them. Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm going to rank this in the upper portion of his best work. And I don't rank Paul, the 32-year-old, 27-year-old Paul, against the now 76-year-old Paul. That's kind of unfair. It's sort of like ranking his work with the Beatles. But I will just say, at this stage of his career, his life, he's in great creative shape with this more recent body of work. Okay, I will just leave it at that. Sure, his voice is a bit weathered, but his voice is not the total sum of his talent, and he could still write great sharp melodies and produce them and make them sound musically great. That's all I'm going to say. I jotted down some notes. I don't know. It has a very kind of same vibe or a similar feel as the John Lennon song Now and Then, which was one of the tapes Yoko gave to the 3 surviving Beatle members when they made Free as a Bird and Real Love. But for some reason, I think it was George who did not want to touch the 3rd song, so it never happened, which is a shame, but it is what it is. But I don't know the which is the first full track. There's like an interlude beginning, opening station. Sort of sounds like the opening to Sgt. Pepper's, but I don't know. It opens with a beautiful piano line that is sustained somewhat, which is good. I've heard it said it's too long, but no, not for me. You let it flow out, okay? And it's kind of a modern day Let It Be. In Let It Be, he mentions his mom, Mother Mary, and in this song he mentions his brother. So I thought that was kind of noteworthy. And the song just really, really, really builds. It's very reflective. Paul's at this stage, as we all get, 76 years old, we get very reflective about our lives, where we've been, and where things stand now, and looking toward the end. Beautiful, beautiful opening. Come On to Me, the first really catchy, draw you in, pop song, which I like a lot. It was released prior to the album, but I really, really like the song a lot. It's earworm catchiness, and it has the Muscle Shoals horns and good production. It's not brain science, but it's just good, pop Paul, melody type of song. Happy With You is very nice. Again, it's in that reflective mode. Paul talks about his past bad habits, that he doesn't want to do any more, that he's in a good place, blah blah blah. And it has a nice kind of a rewrite of Mother Nature's song. So if you will notice that. Okay, Who Cares? The song about bullying, the bullies, the internet bullies, and all, that's been in the news a lot. And it's Paul is singing some, helpful advice to people who have been victims of that. Hey, just ignore them. They're the idiots. Go on with your life. And that's my advice too. Ignore the bullies. They're not going to be relevant in your life. Choose friends who you like and who will help you, and you're good for each other. Okay. It has a really cool. It's a. Who Cares? It's a cool rocker. It has a nice buzz at the end. Buzz sounding at the end. For You, I'm losing track here. I'm losing my. Oh, the Dirty song. For You, it's put to mean the F-bomb. Okay, I love the song. Come on. Despite the controversy, if he had pronounced the word for you instead of for, make it sound like the F-bomb, I don't think it would have been controversial. And it's been said that he used it as a promotional tool for the album. But I like the song. It's catchy as hell, and it has great parts in it. And so a nice addition to the album. And it's one of those songs, along with Come On To Me, the hook to draw the listener in to so they can seek out the album. It's like the singles. People Want Peace and Hand in Hand aren't my favorite tracks, but I can hang with them. I mean, if there's a squeakiness in the boards, in the floorboards of this album, that's it. And while they're not skip over tracks, I might, in future listens, might skip over them to tracks I like more. For You, it's one of those message piece, give peace a chance song, which Paul has done numerous times. People want peace. Oh, but as you get into the song, it turns more into like give peace a chance chant. People want peace. People want peace. So, I can dig it, understand the message. Hand in Hand's very nice song. I might be leaving a track out. Okay, Hand in Hand is a very nice song. Not my favorite, but an enjoyable listen to. And let's see, Confidant is very, very not beautiful acoustic with an acoustic line hook to it. It's just really nice. One of my favorite tracks. And he's singing about a friend, his acoustic guitar that he has kind of, I guess we all get busy and doing other things that he has lost contact with. Or when he does play it, it's just not that feeling. But he's rediscovering it and talking to it with old times and new friendship, which is cool. Let me check the timing, how much time I got on this on my memory card. Okay, 11 minutes. I got to get this going. Dominos. It's a great song. Definitely one of the highlights of the album. And if you listen closely to it, it has a similar opening to his song on Red Rose Speedway called Get on the Right Thing. And if you listen to Get on the Right Thing, there's a brief instrumental part, and then when he goes into vocals, it has a similar flow and vibe as Dominoes. I really like Dominoes. It's very melodic, and it has some of those revolver type of sounds toward the end, and definitely a highlight of the album. Back in Brazil, which I absolutely love because it's the oddball. It's the like the black sheep of the album. It seems like it doesn't belong there, but when you hear it, it's great. It's very melodic, and I like Brazilian Latin music anyway. So, and the sound effects he puts in, really cool track. Do It Now, another decent, really a good song. Not one of the stands out, but I can hang with it. I can dig it. Caeser Rock, and I've been surprised that this track has received some negative comments, because it's one of my favorite songs as a rocker, man. I mean, Paul rocks out and he tries to bring up that old Paul Rock voice, the helter skelter voice, and almost pulls it off, but it's the voice has a little bit weathered with age, but it's a good track. I like it, the instrumentals and all that. It's just great. Okay. Desperate Repeating Warnings, which is probably the highlight of the album, and a lot of great comments on this track, and I don't want to go into the political commentary of the song. I'm more focused into the music, and I noticed he used the word captain, which he does in the song Wanderlust on Tug of War, as a metaphor, okay, in that song, and a metaphor in this song. I thought that was interesting. And he does it, what he has done in the past brilliantly, with Uncle Albert. He takes parts, melody changes, and puts them all into one song. So with desperate repeating warnings. Oh, this is what happens when the material's new to you. I think he took a bit of the song Tug of War from the Tug of War album, Uncle Albert, the song Band on the Run from the Band on the Run album, a bit of Live and Let Die, shades of those songs, and just kind of put them in there. And it sounds great. I mean, he's really shaking up the bowl there. Let's see what else we got. And the conclusion. We have another interlude station 2. You know, runs 47 seconds, and it sounds more like the opening for the album Tug of War. Push, pull, push, pull. And then it goes into the melody, the Hunt You Down, Naked, Ceiling. 3 pieces pulled together, sort of like the second side of Abbey Road. Kind of that same principle. And I really like how the album ends. A lot of people does not like that. They thought the prior song should have been the ending, but I like how it ends because it's, you know, it has that rocker. Hunt You Down, which is a cool rocker. There's just one effect in there that goes whoop whoop. You know, I'm not sure I like if it was needed, but it doesn't ruin it. Okay. And then it changes the pace, sort of a waltzy. The song Naked, sort of a waltzy song that you know, like that, and I like it. It took a little while for it to sink in, but I like it. And then C-Link, phenomenal, because you know, you got this bluesy guitar along with this, what I would sound like to me, Arabic music string arrangements, you know, and that's how it ends. I like. I have a tendency to like endings for albums that end a little, you know, bit on a, you know, bring it down instead of boom. Okay. So those are my thoughts on this album. The musicianship is excellent. I think it's probably the best of all the albums he put out this century, and I'm going to enjoy this album the rest of my life. I'm glad Paul is still making great music. I wish he would, you know, spend more time in the studio than touring, because I won't see Paul again live. The shows are just too expensive, and I feel like veteran rockers, they just turned into, you know, oldies acts. You know, oh, let's hold you know, my cell phone up and, you know, hey Jude. I'm just not into that. I'm more into, you know, veteran artists like Paul, what they can do musically now. In the past, I can sit home and listen to the records. I can pop in DVDs of their concert, but you know, I don't want to pay the ticket prices they're asking now and go with 50,000 plus people and, you know, my phone. You know, I'm just not into that. I hope this is not the last album. It could be, but let's maybe with it debuting at #1, this will encourage Paul to put out a couple more albums, you know. Heck, Tony Bennett still putting out an album. Willie Nelson is. So, yeah, that's great. So, that's it, my conclusion. And I think this album is very important. These later Paul albums are very important because, and I would say this about Ringo to a certain extent, this is the closest we'll ever get to having new Beatle music. I mean, come on. So I welcome your comments. Our thoughts and prayers are for the people who are most affected by Florence that blew in. So just awful, but you know, we all pull together as a nation and help each other. Please, your comments are welcome. Bye-bye.